Good afternoon, and thank you, or good morning if you're on the West Coast. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to join us as we launch a new exciting feature at Transamerica. As we set out a couple of years ago with our new CEO, Will Fuller, and our new president, Jamie Ohl of Individual Solutions, we cast a journey. We cast this very strong vision that we're going to be strong and committed to the life insurance space. And in that vision, we set out four pillars that are critical to our success. The first of those is talent, bringing the right talent to the organization. Number two, be an innovative product maker and manufacturer that meets the needs of Americans. And number three, let's improve our service to be a world-class service provider. And if we're able to capture those three things, we then can be the best distribution partner in the country. So we're looking forward to being your distribution partner of choice. Today, part of that third pillar of service, we are excited to launch a new experience that your clients will have with a new application experience. And I want to stress the term experience because the intent of this new application process is twofold. Number one, we want you to only have to engage with your client through the application process one time. And number two, how awesome would it be if a very large percentage of all applications seamlessly went through the process? Now, being that this is a new experience, in my mind, it's like riding a bicycle. I'm sure, think back when you were a child, you're learning how to ride a bicycle. It's very new. It's a new experience. The first time I got on the bike, I might have stumbled, I might have scraped the knee. The second time, I was well set. The third time, I was almost an expert. So I want you to engage with us through this new experience and look at it that way. The first time, yeah, it could be some changes, some differences, because the application and the experience is built around big data, behavioral science information to really drill down and understand what is this ailment, what is this prescription, and what's the right underwriting offer for this client. But I'm not going to steal the show because one of my colleagues and leader of underwriting, our chief underwriter, Andy Viger, is with us today to give you more intel about what this experience can really mean and the value that it drives to not only you as our producer or agency leader, but to the insured. So Andy, thank you so much for being here with us today. It's all yours, my friend.
Thank you, Wendy. Yes, as Wendy said, we are thrilled to finally be able to introduce this new experience to you. This has been a work in progress for the better part of 2 years. And as Wendy said, really one of the key elements here is the entire end-to-end process from the beginning time that you start with an applicant till you place the case. And obviously a big part of that process is the application and underwriting process. And so by design, this underwriting process will focus on trying to capture all of the information upfront, right? The key being one touch with your customer and to allow us then to try to eliminate all of those secondary things that tend to happen in a traditional process. One, we will look to reduce the number of times that our team reaches out to you for additional information because we've already collected it. Two, if an exam happens to be ordered, we will actually not even have additional questions as part of that exam. Three, we actually are trying to eliminate those exams. So by and large, our longer term goal here is to reduce our dependence on those more invasive requirements and to increase our opportunity for more automated underwriting decisions. With this process, you should expect to see a lot better results from our underwriting team. Overall, those underwriting results, as you see here, are based upon a pilot that we've been doing for the last 2 months. So the good news about the pilot is we have put over 3,000 applications through this process with over 1,200 underwriting decisions and paid cases as a result. So these are very valid numbers. So you see the placement right there. Really, this is one of our primary goals. How do we make sure that we are delivering things in a way that allow you to get paid on more of the cases that you send to us? And so you see some ranges here, but generally speaking, we have been able to increase that placement rate by about 10 to 12% overall. um, automated underwriting decisions, which is a contributor to the placement rate. Prior to this, we had a very, very low automation rate, and it was had some manual aspects to it. So we went from about 3% and in the pilot to a range of somewhere between 8 to 10%. So about three to four times more overall. And we expect that that will just continue to increase over time. Really, the big ticket item here is the cycle time, where you're seeing cases come out from our team, and this is from the time of application submission to placement of a week to 2 weeks better than today's processes. So these are all pieces of the value of this equation. When we do something like this, there's always the additional questions about what is our overall underwriting philosophy? Are things changing? And bear in mind, our overall underwriting philosophies are not changing. We are looking to be more streamlined. We are definitely looking to do things in a much more efficient and speedy way. And we're definitely looking to make things easier for you and your customers as they apply for insurance with Transamerica. And this is just the start. So while you are going to learn about this new process and how we are changing, this is just a start. This creates a foundation for us on which to build and continue to enhance our process as well as our automation capabilities. So again, we are very excited to go national with this. And for more details, I'm going to turn it over to my good friend, Steve Weber.
Well, Andy and Wendy, thank you both very much. And for all of you jumping on this webinar, thank you. Thanks for your time, for the commitment and the partnership, the trust and the faith that you put in Transamerica and allowing us to help you protect your clients and your families. We're excited. We're really excited about what we're talking about right now. You know, life insurance companies love their metrics. And Andy talked about a few of them, right? We have persistency ratios that we watch. We have placement ratios. But that number one stat, probably the most important thing to you, is the time between when you submit that application and how fast that policy gets issued. And man, this has made a big, big impact. But that's one of the that's the result of these changes. So I get right now to walk you through some of the enhancements, some of the things that are a little different. There's a number of them. The result is a one-touch application, a smart, intelligent, reflexive application that's going to help you get those policies issued faster and get your commissions paid faster. On this one app, you can do both your term and or your IUL on one e-app. A lot of times there's a reason why maybe you're starting with an IUL and you want to add a term writer, or maybe you just want to pivot. You can use that same application. It doesn't have to start over. So we're really trying to save you time. But the biggest changes are the next three things I'm talking about. It's a better one-touch experience for you and your clients. Nothing drives an agent, nothing probably makes you more frustrated than submitting an application. And then 3 days, 5 days, 7 days later, when you're waiting for a decision, what do? You get a request, you get a requirement, you get something outstanding where we need this new form. Maybe it's a military form, maybe it's a financial summary. All of those things have been entered and built into this reflexive, smart application so that you'll never have to go back to the client. We are really trying to make this a one-touch experience between you and your clients completing that. And if you're a case manager, boy, you should really love these enhancements. So we're reducing the number of touches. We're making an application experience that is going to be smart and reflexive and only ask you the important questions. If it's a large case with a high premium, maybe there's a financial summary. Well, instead of getting an email 5 or 7 days later, that financial summary is right here in the e-app for you to complete. But there's a number of other enhancements. Let's talk about fewer underwriting requirements. One of them is that Transamerica will order the requirements if needed and only when needed. And that pyramid exam has been dramatically reduced for how much time it takes because we're no longer doing a medical history ever with a pyramid exam. We're only doing vitals and we're only doing labs. What's your height? What's your weight? Blood and urine, just what's necessary. Another enhancement that's brand new to us is not every agent wants to complete the part 2. There's definitely reasons where it's a family member, it's a friend, it's a celebrity, it's someone where, you know what, they want the privacy of completing their own part 2. and answering those medical conditions that maybe they don't want that client, that agent to know. Well, now you can do client collaboration. And I'll show you this in detail in just a few minutes, where the client can fill out and answer their part two. Maybe it's because there's a time crunch and you just want to get the ball rolling. You want to start the part one, and now you can send that part two to your client to complete. This next enhancement is something that we've had on the final expense side in iGO for over 6 months. And let me tell you, it was a kind of a sleeper. The feedback we got was really, really strong, that agents are loving how much data that we're auto pre-filling. Now, sure, you've seen this where, you type in your street address and it picks your city. This takes it to a whole nother level. The result is it's taking you less time to complete an application because it's auto pre-filling a lot of good information, and you'll see that in just a minute. E-delivery has been enhanced for juvenile cases, and now for foreign national business, you can use iGO and submit an e-app. By the way, every once in a while I hear, oh, I'm glad you guys are back in foreign national business. Let me really emphasize this. We are the premier foreign national company in the life insurance space. Our team has over 460 years of experience. We've never wavered. I think we wrote 6,000 foreign national policies last year. And if you have an opportunity for us to help you place a foreign national case, please let us try to help. It's something we're really, really good at. So all of these enhancements, I'm going to go into detail. They're only approved in certain states, and it's the usual suspects where we are still waiting for approval. You can see that California, Florida, New York, South Carolina, and South Dakota, we're still waiting for approval. That means your experience isn't changing. That means what you're having today will still be the same experience until this e-app changes. Let's go into some details. Let me share some screens so I can walk you through. Make sure there's no surprises. In general, if you never saw this app again, you'd be able to get right through it. But I do want to show you some of the changes and some of the enhancements. Let's go back to this auto pre-fill. I mentioned it's been live for about 6 months on iGO, on our final expense product. And man, agents have told me they absolutely love this. It's going deeper than just what's your name, what's your address and street you live on. It can actually pre-populate your beneficiary information, their driver's license, their social security number. And if you look on this screen, one of the things you want to do is make sure you're trying to validate that client. So you're starting with name and address, then you're hitting validate. And on the left-hand side, you can see it's going to pre-populate their social security number, their driver's license, their email, sometimes their phone, their beneficiaries. Beneficiaries if they live in the same physical house. So I have 2 children, 2 boys. One lives at me at home. The other lives in San Francisco with his buddies. He's not going to show up as an eligible beneficiary or pre-populate, but my son is. And in all cases, when it does pre-populate, you can edit it. If they want to change their email address, you can change it. Nothing's forced. It's just nice. And agents have said it really adds a level of credibility to the experience. Like, wow, you already have this really good information. There's a couple changes on here that were really well thought out, but I want to make sure you know they're coming. This is a good example of one. We're trying to remove all the friction. We want to get these policies issued as quickly as possible and help you protect your families and get paid as soon as possible. So one of the questions in here is, do you want to draft upon underwriter approval? And we're encouraging everybody to say yes, but you can choose to wait for the offer, and then you have to respond. But sometimes that gets lost in your email. Sometimes you're waiting for it and it's sitting in your Transact, or maybe it's sitting in AgentNet info and you're waiting. But now you have a choice. If you want to get this decision approved fast and have that policy drafted and get that coverage placed, check that box. Check yes, draft upon approval. There's one other change that's not on the screen, and that is when you pick the product. So today, if you've written a lot of term or IUL, let's use term, for example, you pick Super 10 or Super 20 or Super 30. That's changed from when you first start the screen. You're picking the product. You're picking the 2024 New Experience Super. And then later on, you're picking the product. the term length, 10, 20, and 30 years. The other thing that's changed is that you're not submitting preferred. You're not picking the rate class. And there's a real reason for this. So you're entering the premium out. Listen, if you're writing us, it's probably because you know that we're really, really competitive with our products. You probably know what the premium is. You've already ran quotes. You've chosen this product. So you're entering the premium amount, but you're not entering preferred plus or standard. What we found is that can really hold up the policy issue experience. And too many times you're getting approved other than applied for. Now, remember, we're always going to give you the best rate class possible. We don't really rate to what you submit. We rate to the client's health. And we're always trying to give them the best rate possible. So just know, because it's different than today, you're not going to see that rate class needing to be chosen. E-signature has changed a little bit. In general, if you're signing remotely, your clients need to sign with their full Social Security, and you need to sign with any 4-digit PIN. So what this is saying here in bold, all signing parties who have a Social Security or ITIN, really their clients, not you, the agent, they're going to sign with a full Social Security or ITIN. Now, if it's a foreign national who doesn't have a Social Security or ITIN, then they're going to sign with the 4-digit PIN. You, the agent, are always going to sign with your own 4-digit PIN. It's not assigned to you, pick it, and then you can move on through the application. There's another screen that's been updated. We're trying to make it easier. If you need to attach an illustration, maybe you ran your illustration in our online Life Illustrator. Maybe you ran it in WinFlex, but if it's an IUL policy, FFIUL or FCIUL, and you want to attach that illustration, really simple, really easy to attach an illustration now. Let me call out something on the bottom left here about cover letters. For a long time in this industry, everybody was kind of encouraged to write a cover letter. We're asking you not to write cover letters, because anytime you write a cover letter, you're getting kicked out of the automated underwriting. Remember, a lot of policies are being issued now without an underwriter taking a look. Straight through processing is happening for those clients that have very little medical conditions, that have the appropriate age and face amount. An underwriter's never even touching this. But if you put a cover letter in there, no matter how clean that applicant is, it's going to slow down the process. So really, you might use a cover letter for your foreign national business. There are issues where you might want to use it, but generally, you don't want to use a cover letter because it's going to kick you out of the automated process, potentially. Here's something that's new too, and I want to emphasize two things. When you get to this screen, this is after you've done a lot of your information. You've already put in your beneficiaries, you put in your names and address and social, and you've uploaded the attachments. Now you're right about to lock this policy. Make sure you review this and edit if possible, because in bold on the left-hand side, you can see it says, once part 1 is locked, you cannot make any changes. That's different than today. We used to let you unlock the policy. So now you're not going to be able to unlock it. So be careful. Make sure you're actually checking their Social Security, checking their birth date, making sure that you just have everything right. And down at the bottom, you'll hit confirm. But if it's locked, you can't go back. But what you can do is duplicate the policy. So I'll show you that in just a second too. Part 2, medical questions. Remember, this is a smart, intelligent, reflexive questionnaire. If you say you have diabetes, there might be a question saying, when were you diagnosed? When was your last treatment? But what that means is you're completing this application with one time with the client, never having to go back for clarifications. But like we talked about, sometimes you're going to want that client to complete, or the client may want to complete the part 2 on themselves. So look at, let me see if I can zoom in here. And I'm going to come over here in this red box. Okay, zooming in. Clients may now complete part 2 on their own. Choose yes to send your client the email. So generally, I think you, the agent, are going to want to complete the part 1 and 2, control the experience, push that client around, forward, moving faster, but sometimes you're going to want. So notice that if you want to do the full app yourself, you're going to put no. If you want the client to complete part 2, receive an email where they can do all their medical questions, that's when you're going to choose the next part. confirm and lock. Make sure that you're locking this information one more time. You can duplicate it afterwards, but you can't go back. So you want to just make sure everything's correct. Once you lock that application, this is a nice feature too. You're going to get the policy number. I'm going to zoom in one more time, let you see this. So write this number down. This is, now the policy of course hasn't been issued, but it's going to be this exact number. Your case ID will be the policy number when issued. By the way, look on the top right, under the Transamerica logo where it says 2024 new experience. So that's what it says for Super. It doesn't say Super 10, Super 20, Super 30. You're going to pick the 2024 new experience FCIUL, 2024 new experience FFIUL, or Trend Center Super. And then in the product section, you're going to pick 10 and 20 and 30. Yeah. So one more step that's a little different is how you complete your disclosures. Make sure you're, as a case manager, you know this, your client, the agent and the client are just going to complete each box there. They're going to open it, close it, and hit I agree. So they do that 3 times, and that's their HIPAA signature. That allows us to pull all the fast data needed to make a quick underwriting decision. If they're getting an email to do this, if you're not face-to-face, you can see on the right-hand side, circled in red, if you're not in person and they're going to sign via email, you're going to want to send that email. They're going to get an email that's from Do Not Reply iPipeline. And you could see, maybe you could see it says action. Let's try to zoom in here. You can see the subject is action required on your Transamerica life insurance company. So this is where they can start their part 2. This is where they can do their signature process. And it's coming from, one more time, from Do Not Reply. So just make sure they know the subject line, they know who it's coming from, and when they're looking for it. For you, you're going to start your signature. The client progresses through the application and does their signatures. You're waiting for your signature from the client to begin. Then you're going to do the application. So if they selected yes, right, if you're doing it with client collaboration, right, first they sign, then they complete the application, their non-med history and questions, then it goes back to the agent to sign. So if this is a client collaboration, you can see in red, it kind of walks you through what experience that client is waiting for. This is new to us. Sometimes you want to change the application. Maybe you started with an IUL and you just realize this client needs more protection, they need term. Maybe you're writing 2 policies. You're writing an IUL, but you want to have an IUL with long-term care that doesn't eat up that death benefit. And so you're going to write 2 policies. You're going to want to duplicate that case. It's really straightforward. Now you can see that in your dashboard, it's going to show you where this case has been duplicated, and it kind of retitles it. You can see it has the same name, but it's called a duplicate case. And in here, you do have to do some of the signatures again. So even if you went through all that process, when you duplicate a case, you're going to want to revalidate that client. But all of the information you've entered is still there. There's just some verification and validation that you need to complete. So when does this all go live? It goes live soon. It goes live Saturday. If you're in an approved state, you're going to see a change Saturday, June 15th. And then there's another date. If you have an application in process already, those applications will be good through 7/17. So it's coming here fast. Guys, we're excited. We think this is going to make a big difference for you and your agents. As a case manager, it should really impact how quickly policies are getting issued and eliminate the back and forth as a case manager between you and the agent and the client. And like I said, if client's super healthy and it's a traditional age and face amount, there's a chance it's going to be issued, or an underwriting decision will come through without even being reviewed by an under. Right now, because we just launched, about 10 to 12% are getting an instant approval. The goal over the next year and a half is to increase that to 50 and 60%, but it's making a big difference. The auto pre-fill, the duplicate, the way the client collaboration, foreign nationals being eligible. We're excited, guys. We really do listen to your feedback. And we know that we have to make this an easier experience between you and your client. Now, if you have your phone on you, you can pull up these QR codes. You can find some of this on the right-hand side, actually. On the bottom right-hand side, if you have your phone handy, click on the bottom right, the full end-to-end train. This is a new, very comprehensive model. It has a sandbox for you to explore in. It has different videos on different subjects. It has your underwriting guides and your client brochure. It is a really good, strong end-to-end experience. So on behalf of all of Transamerica, I want to say thank you. I know that you've been asking questions along the way. I just realized that questions were supposed to be asked in the Q&A button on the bottom left-hand side of your screen. We're going to stay on in a little bit. If you still have questions, we're not able to turn this on right now live, but you can type your questions. Our underwriters are on. Our new business team is on. If you have questions, please go into the Q&A button on the bottom left, and someone will reply to you directly. If you want a phone call, if you want to do a private webinar or one just for you and your team, for your GA, for your downline, that's what our internal wholesalers, our RVPs, myself, we would love to go deeper with you and show you some other slides. This, of course, is a high-level national call to get you excited. If you want to go deeper and ask more questions, put that in the Q&A and say, please call me. I want to do another webinar. I want to learn more about Transamerica and your other products too. So keep doing that. We're going to stay on a little bit longer. I mean, we'll probably turn the camera off, but as soon as those Q&As stop, then we're going to end this call. But everybody, thank you for your partnership. For many of you, thank you for your friendship, the trust and faith you put in Transamerica. We don't take it lightly, and we really appreciate you. Thank you.
Hey, Steve.